Welcome back to Supernatural Japan. I'm your host, Kevin O'Shea, and today we're exploring the most important holiday in the Japanese calendar, Shogatsu, the New Year. More than a simple change of dates, New Year's in Japan is a profound cultural reset, a moment that blends Shinto belief, folk spirituality, ancestral reverence, and centuries-old rituals designed to welcome good fortune and keep darker forces at bay. If Christmas is the West's season of light, then Japanese New Year is its season of renewal. It's a time to cleanse, to prepare, and to greet a world alive with invisible presences. And like many Japanese traditions, Shogatsu is filled with spiritual and supernatural meaning that often goes unnoticed by casual visitors. Tonight we'll explore the foods, customs, shrine visits, lucky symbols, and even the unseen spirits thought to walk the world as one year melts into the next. Let's step into the winter night. New Year's is the single most important holiday in Japan. Businesses shut down, schools take long breaks, trains overflow with families returning to their hometowns. And even in modern cities, a sense of quiet respect seems to settle over everything. To understand why, we have to remember that Japan once followed a lunar-influenced agricultural calendar. Winter was both an ending and a beginning. The time when people paused and appealed to the gods for protection, good harvests, and safe living for the year ahead. And while the country officially adopted January 1st in the Meiji era, the spiritual architecture of the older calendar remains deeply embedded in Shogatsu. At its core, the New Year holiday is not simply a celebration. It's fundamentally an act of spiritual housekeeping. The Japanese belief in the cyclical clearing of impurities, also known as hare, plays a central role. The idea is that as the year closes, people carry misfortune, spiritual dust, and emotional weight. And before the new can enter, everything stale must be cleaned away. This idea is supernatural, not in a flashy or terrifying way, but in the quiet, ever-present Shinto sense, the understanding that unseen forces affect daily life. Every December, families perform something called osoji, meaning the big cleaning. Homes are scrubbed, top to bottom. Offices, classrooms, and even public buildings participate in what is essentially a national ritual of purification. On the surface, it may seem like ordinary housework, but culturally, it carries deep spiritual significance. The purpose of osoji is to remove impurities that attract bad luck and create a space for Toshigami, a New Year deity believed to visit every household. Dust is more than dust. Clutter is more than clutter. They are the physical echoes of spiritual stagnation. When everything is clean, fresh, and orderly, the household becomes a fitting place for the visiting deity to bring blessings for the year ahead. Many families also decorate the entryway with shimenawa, the twisted ropes used to mark sacred boundaries. And these ropes invoke the Shinto belief that certain thresholds, doorways, gates, even trees can become sites where the divine crosses into the human world. By placing shimenawa outside the home, families symbolically tell the gods, "Here is a pure place. You may enter." Japanese New Year cuisine isn't just delicious, it's ritual food, collectively called osechi ryori. Each dish is prepared in advance, not only because shops close for several days, but because fire was traditionally avoided in the first days of the new year to prevent inviting misfortune. Every item in osechi carries symbolic power. Kuromame, sweet black beans, represent health and the ability to work hard in the coming year. Kazunoko, yellow herring roe, symbolizes fertility and the prosperity of future generations. Kurikinton, a golden sweet potato chestnut paste, resembles gold and invites wealth. And tazukuri, dried sardines, harkens back to farmers using fish as fertilizer, symbolizing bountiful harvests. These foods function almost like edible charms, each carrying a wish or prayer. Eating them is not simply a meal, it's a ritual act, a way of aligning oneself with good fortune. Another essential dish is toshikoshi soba, eaten on New Year's Eve. The long noodles symbolize long life, and the ease with which the soba can be cut represents letting go of the hardships of the past year. In some regions, it's believed that failing to eat toshikoshi soba invites lingering bad luck that follows you into January. Food becomes a conduit between the human world and the forces that govern luck, health, and destiny. Perhaps the most iconic New Year tradition is Hatsumode, the first shrine or temple visit of the year. Millions of people across Japan line up, sometimes for hours, to offer prayers, buy new charms, and draw omikuji or fortune slips. But behind the festive atmospheres lies something deeper: the belief that the boundary between the human and spiritual worlds becomes more permeable during New Year's. Visiting a shrine at this time is not just tradition. It's a deliberate act of spiritual alignment. During Shogatsu, the Toshigami, the deity of the incoming year, is believed to descend from the mountains and bless communities. This idea reflects ancient Japanese animism, which places divine spirits in natural features like mountains, forests, rivers, and stones. The Toshigami is a kind of visiting ancestral spirit, bringing life energy for the coming year. When people ring the shrine bell, they are calling the deity's attention. And when they clap their hands, they are signaling their presence. When they bow, they acknowledge the presence of unseen but powerful spirits. Temples also play a role. At Buddhist temples, the final moments of the year are marked by Joye no Kane, where monks strike a large bell 108 times to symbolically dispel human earthly desires. The belief is that these desires weigh down the spirit, and by hearing the bell, listeners purify their minds and begin the year renewed. Japan's New Year traditions are filled with supernatural beings whose presence is subtle but profound. The most important is the Toshigami. But this deity is part of a broader concept that New Year's is a time when ancestral spirits, kami, and household deities return to visit. Families once set offerings of rice cakes and sake to welcome these spirits, believing that happy, well-fed ancestors would protect their descendants. This belief continues today in the form of kagami mochi, 2 stacked rice cakes topped with a citrus fruit. While many may think it's simply a decoration, it's actually an offering to the Toshigami. After the new year, the mochi is broken and eaten in a ceremony called kagami biraki, symbolizing the sharing of divine strength. This act quietly reveals something essential about Japanese belief. The divine doesn't remain in the heavens, it's invited into the home. Although the holiday is joyful, older traditions recognized New Year's as a moment of spiritual vulnerability. In folk tales, it's said that evil spirits travel more freely at this time because the world is between years, between cycles, and therefore easier to slip through. This liminality, the space between endings and beginnings, is powerful. To protect themselves, family used to place kadomatsu, decorative arrangements of pine, bamboo, and plum outside their doors. Today, they're seen as festive decorations, but their original purpose was supernatural. They were believed to act as markers for divine spirits. They were objects that warded off malevolent forces, and they were symbols of vitality, longevity, and purity. Pine represents eternal life. Bamboo symbolizes upright strength, and plum blossoms embody perseverance and resilience. Together, they create a spiritual beacon, a signpost for good kami, and a warning to anything harmful to stay away. In the end, New Year's in Japan is more than food, more than tradition, and more than just a holiday. It's a deeply supernatural moment in the calendar, a time when families reconnect with ancestors, when deities are believed to visit, when spaces are purified, and when people align themselves with the unseen forces that shape their lives. The Japanese New Year is a reminder that the past can be released, the present can be purified, and the future can be welcomed with intention. It is a time when the veil between everyday life and the spiritual world thins, just enough for blessings, hopes, and memories to flow freely. And maybe that's why, even in modern Japan, Shogatsu remains the one moment every year when even the busiest cities pause and people quietly acknowledge a world beyond what they can see. Thank you for joining me for this special New Year's episode of Supernatural Japan. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the traditions and supernatural undercurrents of Shogatsu, please follow, subscribe, and rate Supernatural Japan wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're new, please subscribe. It's super important. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, or anywhere else, you need to subscribe to hear all the future episodes. That would be a wonderful New Year's gift to me. Now, to see photos of New Year's in Japan, please follow Supernatural Japan on Instagram at Supernatural Japan. I'll share lots of photos from years past. Of course, this show is coming out just a few days before New Year's, but I am in Osaka, Japan, and I'm going to enjoy ringing in the new year for the first time in quite a long time with my family in Osaka. Of course, that's my wife's hometown. Now, you can check out our Facebook group for lots of photos over there as well. The links are in the show notes. You can find me on Blue Sky and X at Mad for Maple, where I post lots of cool photos from all of my years in Asia, Japan, China, Korea, you name it. Lots of cool things. Now, I have another podcast called Tales from Kevin. It's all about my life in Asia as a Canadian expat with almost 24 years abroad. You can learn all about my day-to-day life in this diary-style show. It's on all platforms, and the links are in the show notes. I would really appreciate it if you came on over and subbed to that podcast as well. Now, you can shoot me an email anytime you would like at supernaturaljapan@gmail.com. Please, I'd love to hear from you. Give me some feedback. Share some stories with me. Just say hello. I'll get back to you, I promise. And you can support Supernatural Japan over on Buy Me a Coffee with a one-time donation or a membership. The links are in the show notes. Everyone, wherever you are in the world, may the coming year bring you good fortune, health, and peace. Happy New Year, everyone.